Welcome to Startup Passport by Econsulate. Today we are at the AI Asia Summit organized by SLASSCOM Sri Lanka. And today we have Mr. Yohan Welikala, who's the VP for research at CodeGen, which is a well-known company in Sri Lanka, known for their work in the automotive space as well as the hospitality space. Johan, thank you very much for joining with us.
Thank you. It's been nice.
Yeah, I want you to touch a bit about your role at CodeGen and how it evolves with the hospitality industry, especially with AI.
Okay. So CodeGen primarily is a software development company. We started in the early 2000s developing a software called Travelbox for the travel and tourism sector. So at that time, CodeGen is not really well known in the industry, so we had to go out and pitch our product to large operators like, if I were to name a few, Virgin Holidays or Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines, for example. And one of the things that we needed to do when you pitch the product is to have something unique about it. And even at that time, CodeGen's vision was to always be an AI-driven company. So we used, at that time, I would call state-of-the-art things that we could promote within the product to showcase that we are really thinking about the future, not only just giving something that will automate the enterprise, but something that will be future-proof for those industries. So we used to work on things like binary satisfiability, so optimization techniques, and then we developed our own discourse model before the LLMs came about. So I was the head of research at that time. I was VP research even today. I had that research division that comes up with all these ideas. And then our goal is to use these ideas in the commercial applications that we produce. So not just doing research for the sake of research, but commercializing that research.
So you've gone through a number of tech disruptions in your research journey with CodeGen, and then the AI, the big boom about AI came about when ChatGPT was launched for the public. How did you see the pivot in the hospitality industry with that move?
So there are several other big, I would say, hype cycles or tech innovations that the hospitality industry had to take before that as well. So one is, for example, the blockchain and its advent, and then also sustainability and how the hospitality moves with the sustainability goals. So and then we had the generative AI coming in. So hospitality, I would say, especially in the European market that we work in, is very much advanced in terms of embracing these technologies. If you look at travel blogging or thinking about destinations using VR, using augmented reality. For example, there's this application, the Oculus Rift, that called Wonder, where you can experience a place before you actually go there. So those things, the hospitality industry is ready to embrace. And so they are someone who is willing to try out all these new things that are there, and I see that as a good sign because it's a place that you can experiment a lot.
I want to deep dive into some of the use cases that you may have worked on, especially in terms of revenue management for hospitality. How does AI play a role in that, in your perspective?
Yeah, so revenue management is a big thing in the hospitality, especially after, I think it became a key thing after the deregulation of the airline fares in the US from Delta. So after that, revenue management, or being able to optimize the amount of revenue you're getting from a single unit, because there's a time perishable unit in the hospitality industry. So if you have a hotel room, if you don't sell it today, if you have hotel room today, if you don't sell it, you're not going to make money tomorrow out of that room. So it's going to perish after a certain amount of time. So revenue management is really important in the hospitality sector. And there are statistical based algorithms that used to work, looking at analyzing statistics over time what is our predicted yield and so on. Those things work to a certain extent in the hospitality sector. But with the advent of the LLMs and the newer generation of AIs, what's changed is actually being able to understand what is happening in the world. So, for example, there's news about, let's say, the recent travel advisory in Sri Lanka about something. So, previously, someone had to interpret that and tell the system, okay, this is going to negatively impact our the room sales. But now you can actually have a system that monitors the news, it understands what it's going to be, what the impact is going to be, and adjust its algorithm based on that. So that is being the key kind of a change and the shift in terms of revenue management and how it can use or leverage the large language models.
And you mentioned that you're working with different geographies in terms of your offerings from CodeGen. What were the key differentiators that you understood between Asia, Europe, and the Far West or the Far East, for example, in terms of adapting to these new technologies, especially in AI?
Yes, so I think Europe and Asia are actually much better at adapting new things. Nowadays most of the stuff comes through your mobile phones, so the distribution of new technology is not as much. You didn't need to rely on some big company coming and give it. It just deliver the content straight away into your phone, and the technology is available to you. So in that sense, proliferation of the technology is much more rapid. And Asia being much more popular, like in terms of population, it's much more higher. You can see a much more rapid adaptation of these technologies. And Europe is something a region that is ready to try out these new technologies as well. I haven't seen that in the US, for example. They are a little bit backward in terms of adaptation of these technologies, even though they innovate most of this. When it comes to travel companies, even the technologies that we have, like the travel box product and all its innovations, are not really something used. Some of them are still using green screens and traditional systems. Those are the difference when it comes to different continents and how they use it.
Okay. And in terms of the product that you just mentioned, travel box, how have you seen the evolution of it from the start to now? And we are talking about AGI being just a fraction away. So with all those changes coming in, what are your plans to adapt to all these new tech coming in to the industry, especially in terms of your product, but you can talk in general as well?
So Travelbox, we have always tried to be one step ahead of what is going to come next, and that's how we actually captured some of our big deals as well. And so we have built-in capabilities into Travelbox using AI, using the optimization techniques, and nowadays a big thing that we're working on is agent-based systems. So being able to replace some of your tasks with agents who can think, can work, can make decisions on their own. So if you think of Travelbox as like enterprise platform with different let's say modules for different things in the enterprise system, we can replace some of these with agents that will automatically work out some of the things that need to be done. And these agents can feed off news feeds, like I mentioned earlier. They can understand what's going on in the real world and then adapt themselves. So in Travelbox, we've always tried to use the latest technologies in terms of we've changed the interfaces from using like a desktop interface to web to mobile, and also now we have a much more prominence to like a conversation driven UI. So we are thinking new ways of interacting with the customer and bringing these new technologies into Travelbox.
Okay. Lastly, Yohan, I want you to give an advice or your take basically on the current technologies that are evolving, as well as to be ready with the new trends coming in, especially to the hospitality industry. What should a company be ready
Yeah, I think they need to be ready. First thing is awareness, so they need to know what's going on, and then the next one is being able to try out various things. I mean, don't be afraid to, even if you fail in the first couple of use cases, you can try out various things. Because if you think that this is going to just change my business model, I'm going to lose my the way that I'm traditionally doing my business today, you're not going to survive in the new landscape. So my advice is to be ready to try out new things and adopt the new technologies that are coming through.
Thank you very much. And that was an insightful conversation, especially about the industry in hospitality. And that was Mr. Yohan Welikala, VP Research for CodeGen Sri Lanka.